everybody, and welcome back to a very special podcast. Yes, this is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear, and then we discuss them very intensely over a glass of wine. I'm your host with the most, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here tonight by the mistress of the evening, Kat Halstead, the author, queen of books.
Woo! I'm a little concerned about the mistress of the evening.
I don't know, it sounded like I think I said mistress of the morning one time.
Yeah, you probably did at some point. Who knows?
We record at all hours of the day, for example.
We do. The best part, we're recording right now. It is like 7 o'clock my time, and I'm drinking iced cold brew coffee.
Yeah, because girl's tired. But I just woke up from like a 4-hour nap in which I intended to only sleep for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I did that thing when you like fall asleep and it's daytime, and then you wake up and it's still daytime, but it's like later in the day. And you think you slept the whole night and you're confused as fuck.
Way to go.
I sent you a hot text saying, oops, I napped longer. You got super mad. Or you said damn it or something.
I was like, damn, kid.
I don't know, you were like ready to like move on with the night. You're going to move on with the night. Maybe you're going to go to Sonic and get a mozzarella stick at Sonic.
Ooh, Sonic would have been good, man.
I know. But I woke up, had an ice cream. I think I texted you and I said, let me do like a few things first that I intended to do. And
you're like, I gotta do these things I intended to do, and I'm like, okay, good, whatever.
And it literally was just eat an ice cream and take a shower. And now here I am.
That's what was so important, was eating ice cream and taking a shower.
I was laying in bed and I was just like looking at my phone. I think I was like playing a game, playing Pac-Man. And I was like, oh, I want to have an ice cream, but let me just like shut eye for like 20 to 30.
Oh my God, you're such a dork.
Next thing I knew, it was nighttime. It was like the sun was going down and I didn't know if it was coming up or not. It was confusing times in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But anyway.
Confusing times in Patrick's world.
Anyway, we're excited, kind of excited for tonight's episode. I'm excited to do a book because we're venturing back into book club.
Yes.
But we are super weirded out by our choice.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be like a nice little nostalgic romp.
Like a little jovial romp through our childhood.
And we are both very like sketched out by what we read. Or we didn't read, we listened to it.
Yes, and we already like kind of fucked it up because, all right, we'll just say what we're doing first. We're doing The Boxcar Children by our gal pal Gertrude Chandler Warner, American author. Not to be confused with Kat Halstead, the author, but another author.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say she's in the pantheon of great American writers?
Right now I'm really disturbed, so no.
Okay. Yes. So
I'm like super disturbed by like what I read, and I have like some issues here.
Let's get into The Boxcar Children because so apparently there's two versions of the books. Like the original version was written in like 1924, which is the version that you found, apparently.
I somehow came across the audiobook version of that one.
Despite me sending you the link for the one that I listened to, which is like the one that...
I wanted one that had chapters, like, so that I could take breaks.
Oh, yeah.
And just come back.
Oh, okay.
And not worry about, like, stupid stuff.
Well, the one that I listened to on YouTube, if you pause it and you come back, it's going to pick up where you're left off. That's how YouTube works these days.
Listen, I was really tired. I wanted something to be easy, like, for falling asleep. Like, I could be like, okay, it's time to fall asleep. I'll pick up with chapter 4 tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I literally listened to it on 2 devices and it picked up where I left off, so I don't know.
Okay, fine.
So, hot scoop for next time we do book club.
Kat obviously doesn't know how to work YouTube. That's why I don't have a YouTube channel.
Right, well, maybe we'll send a mansplainer out to Colorado Springs to
fuck a mansplainer. Fuck mansplainers.
Yeah, maybe the man version of Clarissa, and he can come and explain it all to you.
God, why am I friends with you? All
right, so I read like the 1942 version of the book. It was Gertrude Chandler Warner rewrote it, and so all right. I'm going to get into this real quick, the Boxcar Children history. She wrote like 17 or 18 books like in the 40s and 50s. And that's like the original Boxcar Children.
Yeah, like that's what we know and love from our childhood, apparently.
No. Hold on. Hot scoop.
No.
Well, anyway, I don't know about you, but me, I am more familiar. So I guess like years after Gertie's death, they kind of did that thing where they just like hired like ghostwriters.
Yeah.
And continued the series. And it became like more of like a mystery series where the kids were like solving mysteries, and those are the ones that I'm familiar with. And they started being re-released. They started releasing them in like the early 90s.
Yeah, okay.
Which would have coincided with when we were in like third grade.
Mhm.
Those are the ones that I read. I don't think I ever, like, in my life, I don't think I ever read this one. So I was, like, waiting for, like, I don't know, like, maybe someone stole, like, a teapot out of, like, Mrs. Jones' house down the street. I was waiting for some, like, hot mystery to happen. And there was, like, no hot mystery.
This is very much a very boring origin story, in all honesty.
This was just as boring as the Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, God. And I fell asleep during that thing and just was like, nope.
Yeah.
Not coming back to it.
With that said, Kat and I listened to two different versions. We're going to do a little comparing and contrasting because I was so bored listening to the 1942 version that I just don't feel like going back and, I don't know, listening to the 1924 version. But apparently there's some like shocking developments because like she is now like questioning her morals.
I guess like the original version was actually not exclusively intended for children.
Yes, that is true.
But there's some like weird little things. I don't know. That just in a 2018 state of mind, I'm like, excuse me, bitch, what the hell is happening here?
Yes, because we're living in an era. Gertie lived in an era where I guess like children worked. It was okay. Like child labor was a thing.
Weird old men just took kids into their houses.
And apparently if like you were like orphaned, I guess the kids were like on their own. They had to like fend for themselves. Because we don't really, I don't know about the 1924 version, but like the 40s version just kind of like kicks off in the midst of it. Like they're already just kind of like roaming around. So we don't know if like they ran away or if...
Honestly, I don't even freaking remember. Like I was so like exhausted when I first started listening to this. I was like, what is going on?
Before we get into the legendary Boxcar Children, do you want to do Gavin with Gertie, or do you want to know about the top 5 hot books of 1942, according to our pals at Goodreads?
Let's do Gavin with Gertie first.
All right, so let's gab with Gertie first. So, all right, she was born in 1890 in Putnam, Connecticut, and I did a little. All right. Putnam, Connecticut is like a hopping town, all right? This place is wild. So it was originally like a little mill town incorporated in 1855 in Connecticut, very close to like Worcester, Mass. And it was the town was named in honor of the Revolutionary War general Israel Putnam. However, in the 1940s, Putnam, Connecticut was also the unlikely base of operations for the all-Russian fascist organization. It was a pre-war Russian group that advocated fascism in the U.S. So hot scoop, like we had like enemies living among us in Putnam, Connecticut.
What?
And that was their base of operations.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, I never knew this existed. And then,
whoa.
Putnam, Connecticut was also devastated by floods from 2 hurricanes with fun names: Hurricane Connie,
of course,
in 1955. And the same year, like just weeks later, Hurricane Diane.
Connie and Diane, damn, man.
Yeah, Connie and Diane, they're like the Thelma and Louise of tropical storms. So they're coming in and just washing Putnam away of its sins, probably because they were the home of a all-Russian fascist organization.
Exactly.
Mother Nature was like, no, girl.
Like, girl, no.
And then, like, the resultant torrent of water destroyed homes, businesses, and factories. And there were, like, places, like, blew up. Like, buildings blew up because there was floating magnesium barrels.
They blew
just,
up?
Like, rolling down the river or the town and just blowing up and, like, destroying things. So this is, like...
rolling down the river.
Yes. So this is,
God.
going on in Gertie's hometown of Putnam. But, want to hear some fun facts about Gertie?
Yeah, let's hear these fun facts about Gertie.
All right. So she did much of her writing while she was convalescent from illness or accidents. And that was when she conceived the idea of the Boxcar Children. And I have a quote. Do you want to hear?
Wait. What accident?
Just like illnesses or accidents. I guess so.
Oh, okay.
It's plural, so she must have been sick and hurt herself a lot.
I mean, I know she was never married, so I guess she needed to get attention somehow.
Yes, so I have a hot quote. You want to hear a hot quote from Gertie?
Yeah, let's hear a hot quote from Gertie.
All right, we're going to get a Gertie voice. I haven't been practicing it, but I'm going to try it, okay?
Oh, dear God. I'm terrified.
Hello, I'm Gertie Warner. Gertie Chandler Warner. I'm a spinster here in Putnam, Connecticut. And here is my legend of the Boxcar Children. I had to stay at home from school because of an attack of bronchitis. Yes, I'm a teacher. Did I mention that? Having written a series of 8 books to order for a religious organization, I decided to write a book just to suit myself. What would I like to do, I asked myself one hot night when I was convalescing from an illness and an accident. Well, I would love to live in a freight car or a caboose. Yes, girls, a caboose. And I would love to hang my wash out of the little back piazza and cook my stew on the little rusty stove found in the caboose. She dreamed of living in a caboose. The caboose is loose.
Okay. I mean, you can rent a caboose from some, like, tourist trains and live in it for, like, a week.
Just kind of, hot scoop in Putnam, Connecticut. They have a Boxcar Children museum, and they have, like a recreation of the boxcar. So maybe we can go there one day.
Oh, my God. Road trip, Patrick.
Yes. After we go to the Thelma and Louise Grand Canyon tour, we'll drive up to Putnam, Connecticut. Maybe we'll drive by the little schoolhouse that Gertie taught us. Or it's probably gone, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, that thing's probably gone, babe.
Connie and Diane took it out.
So, yeah.
So she originally wrote the book in 1924, and I guess she was a teacher or some kind of educator, and she would read the book to her school children, and they would, like, comment on it, and they would offer suggestions of, like, what they thought that would happen. And over the years, she, like, wrote all these suggestions down, which caused her to rewrite the book in 1942. And she dumbed it down for, like, a much, much younger audience. So, like, 2nd and 3rd graders. So, like, the vocabulary.
Yeah, I would say, like, there were definitely a few, like, vocabulary things that I was like, wait, what? But then I was like, it's old school.
Were 20s and 40s kids smarter than us? Do they learn more?
I just think they had a very different vocabulary.
Well, we were raised by the Mario Brothers, so I guess we were dumbed down. And, like, 4 mutant Ninja Turtles who loved pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
we didn't learn how to fend for ourselves like Henry James Alden and his bro and sisses.
Like, we didn't have to, like, put milk in the water to get it cold.
Oh, yeah. And, I don't know, make a fireplace out of stone.
Yeah, like, we didn't have to do any of that crazy.
So we'll get to it. Do you have anything to add on Gertie? Do you have anything to add for Gabbing with Gertie? The hot new segment of our podcast?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't really think so. I'm just like, I want to talk about, like, the stuff that happened in the book, because that's where things get weird. And I feel like this is definitely, like, me being a person who was a kid in the 80s and 90s, and it's 2018 now, so that there are things that my brain knows pop culture-wise that makes this stuff like, hold up, WTF.
Well, we'll get to it, but I have one last Gabbing with Gertie moment.
Okay.
While she was releasing these books, she was highly criticized for depicting children with little parental supervision.
Yeah.
And her critics thought that this would encourage child rebellion, and her response was, however, I like it for that very reason, because I want children to be independent and resourceful and have a solid New England devotion to using up and making do. Woohoo! That was her response, her little cunty response to her harsh critics.
I mean, these kids are pretty freaking smart for everything they put together in that damn boxcar. I'm gonna say that.
Oh yeah, if I was like in a boxcar, I would just, first night I'd be like dying on the street.
Yeah, like, whoa.
Like, I can't do this. I need Wi-Fi.
Yeah, like, dude, I can't survive without Wi-Fi. I'm 37. I can't survive without Wi-Fi.
I need Wi-Fi and a Rick and Morty Blu-ray. And I need my my Legos, my Lego kits, my superhero Lego kits.
We could not survive out in the wilderness for a night.
Oh no! Like, people like ask me if I want to go camping, and I'm like, no. I'm gonna go. If I'm gonna go anywhere, I'll go to like the Holiday Inn down the street, and you can like chill in the woods. And I'll just watch, like, reruns of, I don't know, like, Good Times.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to make sure, like, I have stuff at my boyfriend's house that I'm comfortable enough to spend the night.
Yeah, do you ever have a toothbrush there, like Jerry's girlfriend?
Oh, I have a whole basket of stuff I keep there.
Do you have a little, like, travel bag that you take with you, like the boyfriend bag?
I don't even take, like, no, I actually, like, brought stuff over that I leave there. There's, like, a toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, conditioner. Hair towel.
Can we talk about Hot Scoop that you have a new boyfriend?
Yeah. Oh, I guess we should. We're just going to call him Big.
The Babe.
That's what I'm going to call him.
So
Big.
Big? B-I-G? Notorious?
Yes.
All right, so henceforth, whenever we talk about Big, we're talking about Kat's babe. So, Ooga. So, I don't know. If you follow her on Twitter, you might see hot pics of him. Follow her at Kat DVS. Maybe you'll see them, like, out and about on town. Maybe at a Taylor Swift concert. Who knows? Who knows where they will be this weekend?
I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll just have to wait and see.
All right. Let's talk about the hot books of 1942 according to our pals at Goodreads. Ready for this? Let's get through this.
Yes. I'm dying to know. I want to know which one of these I want to read.
I'm not really excited about this list, but we had to know to get us ready for the Boxcar Children 1942 edition. I didn't do the 1924 research, so you're just going to have to deal with it, girl. Deal with it. Gift.
Gosh, fine, Patrick. Golly.
All right. Are you ready for number 5, the top 5 book of 1942?
Yeah.
All right. The Myth of Sisyphus and Other Essays.
I'm sorry, the myth of what?
Sisyphus? Sisyphus? Sisyphus. So I'm probably saying it wrong.
Either way, WTF.
Yep. So this is by Albert Camus. He's a French philosopher, and it is considered one of the most influential works of the century. It is a crucial exposition of existential thought. It's influenced by works such as Don Juan and the novels of Kafka. And these essays begin with a meditation on suicide, ooga, hot scoop, and the question of living or not living in an absurd universe devoid of order of meaning. So I'm guessing we're getting deep thoughts here by Jack Handy territory.
Yeah.
But not quite as jovial.
That is like really all kinds of disturbing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess he was a crazy dude, a philosopher, so maybe he had some insight that we don't know about. But I'm not going to read it, so we'll never know.
I'm not either.
If anyone has any hot scoops on Albert Camus, tweet us at Very Podcast and school us. School us like Gertie, the school teacher, would.
Go for it.
Read it to us, but let us offer suggestions so it can be dumbed down for us. All right. I'm excited about number 4.
Okay, what's number 4?
Do you know, are you familiar with Miss Marple?
Yes.
So this year, the book 3 in the Miss Marple series, The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie was released. Ooga. So, yeah, we love ourselves a good murder mystery. This is like, Miss Marple reminds me of Jessica Fletcher, I think. Was that like the loosely based on interpretation?
It's probably close.
Do you want to hear the summary of The Body in the Library?
Yes, please.
All right, so this is about Colonel Bantry. He has found the strangled body of an exotic blonde bombshell lying on his library hearth, and the neighbors are beginning to talk. Yes, I guess when you find a body in the library, you're going to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
This ends up becoming hot gossip in Miss Marble's neighborhood, so she takes an interest and begins, and I don't know, she begins to move along the mystery, and it's more sordid than you could imagine. So I don't know, I haven't read it, but maybe we'll do it for a future book club when we get into Agatha Christie territory, or
maybe
we can just watch like the BBC series, because I think there's a BBC series.
Oh, I'm sure there's a BBC series.
I think there's like 3 of them.
Dude, how have we not done like the Hallmark movies and mysteries? Why are we not watching those?
We will. We'll get into it. We got stuff to get through first, girl. All right.
Oh, I know. We got a list and it keeps growing and I never know what's up.
All right. Are you ready for the 3rd hot book of 1942? And this one's going to be a shocker to you.
Okay, give it to me.
All right. It's what we're talking about tonight, the Boxcar Children.
Stop, but I could see it, I guess.
Yes, this was flying off the shelves all over America in 1942. The war was waging on. People just needed to escape, and they just wanted to go back to a simpler time where orphans just lived in the woods in an abandoned boxcar and made stoves and stew and found abandoned dogs and ran away from like scary bakers and their wives.
Yeah.
This is the innocence that America wanted. And also, meanwhile, in Rockford, Illinois, the Peaches were winning at baseball.
The baseball.
But they ended up losing to the Racine Bells. Spoiler alert for A League of Their Own, which we'll get to one day, too.
One day.
Are you ready for the 2nd hot book of 1942, according to Goodreads?
Yes, please.
Are you familiar with C.S. Lewis?
I am.
Are you familiar with his book, The Screwtape Letters?
No, I am not.
Neither am I, but this was considered a masterpiece of satire. This classic has entertained and enlightened readers all over the globe with its sly and ironic portrayal of human life from the vantage point of Screwtape, a senior tempter in the service of our Father below. So I don't know what that means, but I guess it involves demons and angels, and it's a wild ride apparently. So I don't know. Maybe one day.
Sounds like it.
Maybe one day when I have some free time, maybe I'll read the Screw Tape letters, or I'll find like a shoddy YouTube audiobook version of it. Who knows? Are you ready? Numero uno, number one hot book of 1942. You ready for it?
Go for it.
All right. Well, it's also by Albert Camus, who wrote The Myth of Sisyphus. He also had another book that year, The Stranger,
Okay.
which was a novel, and it told the story of an ordinary man unwittingly drawn into a senseless murder on an Algerian beach. And Camus explored what he termed the nakedness of man faced with the absurd. So, I don't know.
Huh.
I don't really get any other details about it, so who knows?
Interesting.
Not really, because that description didn't like draw me in. That was 1942. Maybe they didn't release a lot of books that year because we were at war. We were in a world at war for a second time.
I mean, to be fair, there was no Jackie Collins or Judith Krantz publishing yet.
Yeah, or Roald Dahl wasn't on the scene yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just being weird. What was Roald Dahl up to in the 40s? Do we know?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll find out when we do the BFG or Witches or something.
Yeah.
We'll park it. We're going to park it. We're going to write down Roald Dahl, what he was doing in 1942 on my marker board, and we'll come back to it.
Oh my god.
With that said and done, I think Kat Halstead, the author, queen of books, queen of the night, queen of the big, I think you should take us into the Boxcar Children.
Okay, so you have these 4 kids. They're orphaned. And they're just trying to survive. That's all these little brats are trying to do, is survive. So, hold on. What are their names again? Where did I lose? I've lost that piece. Henry, Jess, Violet, and Benny, yeah.
All right, so I think Henry and Violet are the older two. Henry's like 14-ish.
No. Henry and Jess are the oldest.
Okay, and they're like 14, 12, 10, and 6 is like the succession. So Benny's like the youngest one. He's like a bratty 6-year-old.
Yeah, like I can't tell if he's just, they spoil him or if he's stupid.
Here's my theory on Benny.
Mm-hmm.
The book opens with the parents already dead, and we don't really get a backstory of like how they died or like how long ago they died. So I have a theory that it's probably been like 3 or 4 years, and Benny was like super, super young and like not able to form memories really.
Yeah.
When his parents died. So he's just being raised by kids, basically, essentially.
Yeah.
And he basically isn't taught right from wrong properly. So he's just like an annoying bratty kid.
Yeah.
That's my hot scoop. And he's not getting like properly punished, and he just like, they don't go to school, so he's not, getting educated. So.
Yeah, no, like there's a part where they're like, okay, it's time for you to learn how to read, but we got to make you a reader first, so wait 6 days.
I kind of want to know what happened to the parents. I don't know about you. Like what?
Yeah.
Like did they die like in a flood? Did Hurricane Connie come through? Or probably not Connie because this was the 20s.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like Hurricane Hazel or something came in. Flooded the town of Putnam. Maybe they got kidnapped by the all-Russian fascist group. Who knows? Like, we don't know.
We just don't know.
Yeah. I would like to know. Like, I would like a prequel, maybe like a parent prequel.
Huh.
And hold on. So it's established in the first chapter, the Boxcar Children's dad's father hated the mom. So maybe maybe the grandfather had the mom killed, and it was kind of like that that 90210 type of moment where Dylan's wife is murdered by accident. So like maybe the dad murdered the granddad murdered the dad by accident, and then like the mom couldn't deal with life anymore and she took off. Maybe.
Oh my gosh, that's so dark.
I don't know. It was the 20s.
True.
Or 40s, depends on how you look at it, and I don't know. Or like maybe she had to go work at a factory or something, or the mom was really good at baseball and she joined the Rockford Peaches.
And then she's like, I got this fame, screw you guys, bye.
You think that Mrs. Alden is all the way May Alden?
Ooh.
Madonna's character in A League of Their Own, which explains why we don't really get like her backstory.
That could be it. That's it.
You heard it here first. Madonna's character, all the way May from A League of Their Own, is the mom In the the Boxcar Children.
You are like confusing topics. OMG.
Are the Boxcar Children the Backstreet Boys?
No, they're not.
All right, continue, Cat Olson. Sorry for interrupting with my conspiracy corners.
Conspiracy corner. So these kids trying to survive. There's this crazy baker who wants to like use the older kids as like labor and like basically sell off the little one.
Yes. So the kids are hungry. They're starving. It's been, I don't know, days since they've eaten. Somehow they have like $4 in their pocket.
Yeah.
And they decided to go to this bakery just to like buy bread, just so they can, I don't know, eat supper. I love that like bread is their supper. Like there's no like nutritional value.
I mean, to be fair, it's like 1920s, 1930s, 40s, whatever. These kids don't know. They don't know nutrition.
That is true.
They probably haven't been in school in like a decade.
They go into the bakery, they buy like 4 loaves of bread. And all right, my favorite character in this book, the one I relate to the most, is the baker's wife.
Yeah.
She hates children.
Okay.
She hates children, and then these 4 kids come in and they're like, they want to buy bread, and then they see like 4 benches like in the corner of the bakery.
Yeah.
And Jesse's like, oh, maybe we can stay here. Let's ask the baker's wife if he can stay here. And she begrudgingly says yes, because I guess she has like maybe a small heart. Not quite as big as the baker's heart, but
it's something.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, maybe I can use them for like free labor. Like maybe they can like sweep up the floor and I don't know.
Yeah.
Throw away the old bread. In the Boxcar Children, the movie, like the fantasy movie in my brain, January Jones plays the baker's wife.
I can totally see that.
She's just sitting in the corners.
Like, and it's gotta be better than the digital, like, animated version they've got going on.
So I just picture January Jones as the baker's wife, sitting in the corner with her apron on, covered in, like, flour.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair's a mess. She's just been, like, pulling at it all day. You know, it's not like that typical, like, hot January Jones that we usually see on Instagram. Instead, it's the worn down January Jones, and in comes these 4 fucking kids. She just wants to take like a Winston cigarette break, Old Tahoe, I don't know, whatever they drink, Old Lucky Strikes, whatever they smoked in the 40s. And she's sitting in the corner, and in comes these fucking 4 ungrateful children, and she's like, oh, they're asking to stay here. And she goes to her husband. Who's gonna play her husband? Who has like a big heart?
Oh, Jason Bateman.
Oh, Jason. Oh, yeah, Jason Bateman. I could see Jason Bateman. He's kind of like, he's got a little longer hair. He's got like that 1940s greaser, slicked back hair look. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he just wants to make a living as a baker, make some bread, make some pies, some cupcakes. And, you know, it's a tough business being a baker.
Yeah.
Tough business being a baker's wife, because she's probably going to do a sweeping and shit. Because, you know, Jason Bateman ain't doing that stuff.
Well, obviously.
Sorry. All right, what happens next?
Okay, so the kids realize eventually, once their heads are out of their butts, that these people are going to put them to work and separate them, and God forbid these kids get separated. Because every time there's a tale of orphan siblings, it is the rush to not be separated.
I mean, I guess all you have is each other.
Because we know what happens, like, we watched Unsolved Mysteries, we know that these kids would have gotten separated. 100%.
Oh yeah, they would have been in like different parts of the world. One of them might have been like fortunate enough to go live with like Howard Hughes. Yeah,
like one of them would have gotten like the rich like adoptive parents, and the others would have been like basically working for the baker and the wife. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Jessie growing up to be like the rich bitch.
Oh yeah, totally.
They would have sent her off to Hollywood. She would have been a star. She would have been like she would have played Joan Crawford's daughter in, I don't know, some like hag horror movie of the 60s. What was the one that we did? The axe murder one? What was it called?
Oh God, what was that? I'm totally blanking right now.
She would have done that movie. She would have she would have been the daughter in that movie. And then she probably would have they would have cast her in like Peyton Place after, and then maybe she would have got like her own fun sitcom in the 70s or 80s. She would have been like Laverne and Shirley's neighbor. Then we'd see her again in the 90s when she gets her own vehicle, in which she plays like the older woman. So that would have been Jessie's life. So shout out to her. What could have been? Yeah, but it's not. Instead, I don't know. She wanted to stick together because ducks fly together.
Ducks fly together.
Let's talk about the escape. Can we talk about the escape from these crazy baker and his wife.
Yeah, you go for that, because I'll be honest, in the version I listened to, I kind of just basically passed out.
The baker and his wife, they agree to allow the Boxcar Children. They're not yet the Boxcar Children, but about to be the Boxcar Children, sleep in their bakery. And the two younger ones, Violet and Benny, are falling asleep. They've already fallen asleep, and Jesse and Henry are kind of like plotting out their next moves. They're just kind of like whispering to each other in bed, and they can overhear the baker and his wife like talking like a few rooms over. And the baker's talking about how like he thinks that the three older ones are resourceful, they can use them, and they're going to send the young one off to the children's home down the street, which I'm guessing is just like an orphanage. They panic, so they decide to like flee in the night, and they like run off and they head down like, I guess there's only one road in this town. It's like a dirt road. They head down it, and they get to like a crossroad, and they like spend a day, like it's the sun's coming up, and they spend a day like hiding in a haystack. And the little boy like wakes up. Benny wakes up like in the morning, and he's like whining about being hungry and thirsty. So they have to sneak into the farmhouse and like use the water pump. And then it's like at night they decide they're gonna go on the lam again. And while they're like walking down the street, they hear like the sound of like a car, like an old timey car coming down. They hide in the bushes, and the car just like happens to stop like in front of the bushes, and it's the baker and his wife, and they're talking about like how they need to find the kids, and they're gonna go look in like Greenfield because they don't think the kids will go to Silver City because Silver City's too far. And that's when the kids are like, oh, we'll go to Silver City because the baker and his wife are going to Greenfield.
Like, okay, guys, you basically just helped the kids escape.
And that's when they find the boxcar, like in the woods.
It's so coincidental. It's like a Days of Our Lives episode, let's be real.
Yes, they just happen to stop at the same spot where the kids are hiding and have like a very convenient conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like when like someone, like one person is like laying out the plot aloud by herself, and like the enemy is like around the corner listening to this person just say the plot aloud. Like, oh,
that doesn't happen that much anymore.
So in your version, what happened?
I honestly don't even remember. Like, I really don't remember.
Then what are we doing the podcast for? So this should be like a free hour then?
Shut up. Like, I think, well, okay, so like I took some like pain medication, and I was listening to this, and then I kind of passed out.
Ooh, cats on narcotics. Tell us about your drug escapades.
It's over-the-counter stuff.
Oh, like ibuprofen and shit.
Pamprin.
I don't even know what that is.
It's stuff for lady issues.
Is it lady pain pills for like vaginal pain, stomach cramps?
We'll put it like that because I don't know if you could handle the truth.
I can handle the truth. I don't know about our audience, so we'll come back to it later.
Yeah, exactly. I think most of our audience understands what I'm saying, though.
All right. Well, shout out to Pamprin, shout out to Lady Pain, and shout out to Kat Dots, like really caring about this book. So I guess I'll just have to narrate it. The kids find this like boxcar in the woods, and like Jesse and Violet are like, "Oh, we love this. Let's live here." And they like decorate it. They just find like all this stuff. Like they find like old like pieces of wood, and they built like a table.
Well, they go to the dump.
Oh, the dump. That's right.
They go to the.
I'm sorry.
They go to the dump, and they have to explain to Benny what the dump is, because he has no effing clue. And I'm just like, kid, have you like existed? Like, how do you not know what a dump is? Like, come on.
So they find like old like tea kettles. They find like old cups.
Yeah.
And broom handles and like all kinds of stuff. So like they just find all this stuff. And they realize they need food, and they're in the woods, and I don't know, I guess they don't know how to hunt. They're not like John Locke from Lost. They don't have like hunting skills. They don't know how to like chase a boar.
Oh my god. No, they're more like Hurleys. They're like resourceful. They find stuff, but they're not.
They find stuff that's like already put together. Like it's like they're not building a table from scratch. They're just like, they find like a slab of wood and like some cinder blocks and like make a table.
Yeah.
Like, Henry's not out there, like, whittling wood and shit and, like, making stuff.
Yeah, no, they're just like, oh, hey, we found, like, this broken table, but we can fix it with this, like, random piece of wood. So let's do that. You know what I mean?
Silver City just happens to be, like, down the hill. So Henry decides he's gonna, like, go into town, and he gets a job. He finds, like, a rich doctor.
Yes, he finds a doctor to work for, and he does his, like, thing, and just does, like, random stupid chores around the house.
Yeah, he, like, cleans the garage. He, like, mows his lawn. He helps him, like, pick blueberries out of the bushes for the cook. And the cook,
yeah.
the doctor has a cook, and the cook like makes cookies for Henry, and Henry brings them home, and like the family eats them. However, one night, it's like 3 or 4 days into this whole thing, and one night, oh, hold on, I'm sorry. Before that happens, they find a dog. There's just like a dog roaming through the woods.
Oh yeah, there's like this random ass dog running around the woods, and it gets like a thorn like through its paw. I don't know about your version, but like it sounded like there's this like long ass thorn that went through the dog's paw.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like all the way through. Like what the F?
I mean, it is the woods, so maybe like thorns grow wilder in the woods. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
The dog is super thankful and graceful towards the Alden kids, the Boxcar kids. So he decides to stick around, and they love the dog. The dog becomes permeated in the family. And they name him Watch because they automatically assume he's going to be a good watchdog.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do these kids know, though? Can we be honest? These kids know nothing.
I don't know, like...
except how to, like, randomly find stuff.
One part of me was like, how do they know it's not like a coyote?
I know, right? Like, how do they know? How do these kids know anything?
I'm guessing, like, rabies was rampant back then, so it's like...
it had to have been.
Hopefully they didn't get bit.
I mean, what was that stupid book I read? Their Eyes Were Watching God. The dude ends up with rabies and, like, freaks out and has to be shot or something.
Aw, old Yeller.
It was rampant back then.
So, all right, so they have the dog, and now it's, like, a couple days later where Henry's, like, working with the doctor.
Yeah.
And it's middle of the night, and, like, Jesse and Henry are up. So I guess, like, Henry and Jesse, like, stay up, and, I don't know, they converse, and they talk, and just kind of, like, go over the day. And
this is where that weird Flowers in the Attic vibe starts, dude.
Yes, all right. So you said this to me, and I was going to get into it. So if you're familiar with V.C. Andrews' Flowers in the Attic, the famous novel turned movie turned Lifetime movie,
yeah,
starring Kanan Shipka, our gal pal who played Sally Draper on Mad Men.
Yeah.
By the way, Flowers in the Attic was like about a bunch of orphans that like lived in the attic unwillingly.
They weren't really orphans, though.
Well, I guess the mom abandoned them.
They're basically treated like orphans, though, because the mom is more obsessed with money than raising her kids. Because
so like the mom abandons them and leaves them with her mom, and the grandmom is like evil and mean, and she locks them in the attic for like years.
Yeah.
And then like the two older siblings, their brother and sister, and they end up having like a weird incestual affair.
Yes.
The Flowers in the Attic, the movie that came out like in the like late 80s, like semi-ignored that weird plot line.
Sort of, but not really.
The Lifetime version apparently goes all out when it comes to...
The Lifetime version played that crap up and gave us sequels to all the books where they're like, they get married and have kids together. And
they kind of like tiptoe, in the Boxcar Children, they kind of like tiptoe around this weird vibe between Henry and Jesse. Like I'm guessing...
But it's totally there, like, dude... Yeah. I'm like, what the F? I'm kind of wondering if V.C. Andrews read the Boxcar Children and then wrote Flowers in the Attic, because there's just, like, some similarities, man, that I'm like, what the F?
Yes, because, I mean, I think Henry is, like, 14. He's definitely, like, struck puberty at this point.
Yeah.
And Jesse is, like, 12, so, you know, like, ladies usually reach it younger, so they're both probably at that age where they have the urge, and they only know each other.
Yeah.
So... it's, like, kind of weird. And, I mean, they don't, like, make out or anything in the book, but, like, they have these, like, weird late-night convos, and, like, the other, like, they stay up late, and, I don't know, like, they're definitely paired off in the book.
Yeah, it's just awkward, which maybe, hey, in the 1920s and 40s, this was totally normal. But, yeah, 2018 Cat is like, what the F? What the F? What the F?
So one night, while they're awake together, while the other two are sleeping, the dog Watch wakes up, and he's kind of like, he perks up, and he's like looking out the boxcar window, door or whatever. And they hear like footsteps, and they hear like twigs snapping.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared, and then Watch starts barking, and then like the noise goes away. And they're like, oh, it must have been a rabbit or like a wild animal. Yes, that's what it was. And they stayed up like all night, like silent. And the next day, like, Henry goes back to work, and, you know, he works in the doctor's house and, like, cleans the garage. And he decides that he's going to bring all the, I guess there's one day where they're doing, like, cherry picking from the cherry orchard.
Yeah, they're like, it's a really good cherry year.
Yes.
I don't know if it said it like 20 times in your version, but they said it 20 times in mine. It's a really good cherry year. It's like, it's a cherry year. I'm like, what the fuck?
I guess.
What the fuck, people?
I guess for the previous 10 years, it was not a good cherry year, but we finally had a good cherry year.
Yeah.
And there were so many cherries that Henry alone would not be enough to pull down the cherries.
No.
So the doctor...
And these two men weren't enough either, so he had to bring the siblings.
So the doctor was like, oh, if you know anybody else, other children close to or younger than you, it doesn't matter. We don't age discriminate here in my weird doctor pad in Putnam, Connecticut, or Silver City. And so Henry talks to Jesse about it. He's like, all right, so, I've been doing this work for this like weird doctor. He's very nice. He gives me cookies. He gives me bread. He gives me $1 every day at work, which is enough to buy stuff from like the local hardware shop.
Yeah.
It's like now they're like slowly building like an arsenal of supplies.
Because, they're waiting for the Russians to invade. What? I don't know. They might be. Who knows?
Yes. Well, they might. This could be going on to the all-Russian fascist party, which then goes on to Red Dawn, maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? This book is getting weirder. The more I think about it, the weirder it gets.
All these universes are tied together. That's my conspiracy corner right there.
Conspiracy corner!
Henry talks to Jesse late one night while the other two are asleep. And he's like, hey, Jesse, so the doctor, the good doc, I'm going to just call him the good doc. I forget, Dr. Jones.
Dr. McAllister.
His name's not important. Yeah, Dr. McAllister, we had a really good cherry year, apparently. And he wants me to bring down some extra help to help pick the cherries. And you know that Jesse, Violet, and Benny are fucking bored as fuck because they do nothing all day. They just sit around the boxcar, maybe like sweep, build fireplaces, gather sticks. I don't know, pick up watches poop.
Yeah.
I don't they do nothing all day. So they're excited to actually leave and go into the town and see people.
Well, they dream about building a pool.
Yes. Oh yeah. We'll get to that too. They decide they're going to go into the town, but they have to go in groups of 2 because I guess the grandfather has a bounty on 4 orphan kids. There's a $5,000 reward if these 4 kids are found. So they decide they're going to go in groups of 2
because they're terrified of the grandfather.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because the grandfather hated the mom.
They basically are expecting the grandmother from Flowers in the Attic.
And you know what? It very well could be, but I mean, based on other books,
I'm now convinced. Flowers in the Attic is V.C. Andrews' fan fiction of the Boxcar Children. Boom! You're welcome, America.
The grandfather ended up being nice, but do you think secretly V.C. Andrews was oh, I hope the grandfather's a dick, and then she read Surprise Island, and she's like, oh, the grandfather's really nice.
Yeah, they're actually pretty cool.
And then she stayed up late one night on her typewriter, and she wrote her how she wished it went.
Yeah, in her twisted mind.
Shout out to V.C. Andrews. Call us, even though you're dead. She's dead, right?
Yeah, she's dead. She's got ghostwriters. Still writing under her name, though.
All right, Ouija board us.
Ouija board.
We'll Ouija board you at Halloween when we do our special Ouija board episode.
Oh, is that what we're doing this year?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out how to do it. We'll figure out the dynamics. Maybe we'll do a seance.
I want to know how we're going to do that in 2 different parts of the country.
Maybe we'll contact Lucille Ball. All right, so all 4 kids go down. They pick cherries. All the kids meet the doctor. The doctor loves the kids. It's all hunky-dory. We then get a weird side plot where the kids want a swimming pool. So they build a dam. It's kind of boring. There's 3 chapters based on this. Of them picking up sticks and
yeah, oh my god, that went on for freaking forever.
They were trying to find the perfect spot for the swimming pool. So they basically built a dam and they blocked some of the water in and they finally got one.
Okay, so I don't know if this happened in your version, but when they were picking the cherries, there's something about these older men that Henry later do stuff with, and I'm what is Henry doing with the older men? Did you have that part?
No. Tell me about this sordid subplot that you got.
And that's all it was. It was this throwaway line. It was just this weird, because in my version that I listened to, it's not part of the series. It's it tells a complete tale of these kids in a way. There's an ending at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm just what do you think Henry was doing with these older men?
I mean, I don't want to know, let's be real. I'm scared.
Exactly. I'm this is another one of those WTF moments.
Was he sold into child slavery?
Or something more Hollywood-esque, Bryan Singer, Kevin Spacey sort of stuff, or that's where my My 2018 brain was like, what is he doing with these? What do these guys want with this kid?
Creepy corner. Creepy corner.
Pretty much. And then there's the field day, which just gets, I don't know about you, but I got issues there.
Every year, the grandfather hosts some field day for the kids in town.
Yeah.
And the doctor really wants Henry to participate in the field day.
Which, again, what the F, man? What the F?
Does he want to see how athletic he is? I don't know. Does Henry have abs?
Again, it's just one of these things that I'm just like, dude, what? And I had a line in my version that said that the grandfather had a healthy appetite for healthy boys running around.
What?
No. What?
All right. So do you think that the doctor and the grandfather were running a healthy boy farm?
I don't know. It was just awkward. I was like, dude, whatever's happening, I'm not okay.
Do you think they were secretly working for the Russians and building an army of strong boys?
Yes, exactly. There it is.
Whittle out the weakness boys.
Male version of Black Widows.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's the Black Widow program.
Mm-hmm.
They every year the doctor and the grandfather host a field day. They see how good some boys do, and then they nurture their minds, make them solve mysteries, and then they grow up to be military soldiers in the all Russian fascist army, and they're gonna take over America. And then it ends up segueing into the FX series The Americans, starring Kerry Russell,
former Musketeer.
The field day thing's kind of weird. So I guess the doctor is now aware that the kids are the grandfather's children. The grandfather has a $5,000 reward for the capture of them.
Yeah, the doctor knows, he figured it out. He put 2 and 2 together and he got 4. So he at least understands basic math, unlike Benny later on, who doesn't understand 2 minus 1 equals 1.
So I don't know. They have a field day thing. Henry is the Winter Soldier, the super soldier. He's Captain America. He wins at this.
Yeah, he just beats this random kid.
Yeah, so the prize is $25 US, which is probably a big ass sum of money back then.
Yeah.
That's probably $200 ish.
It's a nice chunk of change. That's for sure.
That's probably winning Big Brother. It's winning this free.
Yes.
I guess when you win the field day, you have to shake hands with the president of the field day, which is the grandfather. So it's it.
Yeah, it's his company puts it on or whatever.
Spoil wild stuff. So the grandfather never met the kids, so he doesn't know what the kids look like, which is kind of wild.
He has no clue at all that he's shaking hands with his grandson. Dun dun dun.
Yes, so that's already as the audience or the readers, we know this. They allude to it.
You would hope so.
So then we come back to, all right. So what ends up happening is Violet, the youngest girl, she's 9 or 10 years old. She ends up getting sick.
Okay, I have to ask you: did she just suddenly start crying?
Yeah, there is a weird chapter,
and then she's at death's door.
There's a weird scene where she's hysterically crying for 3 pages.
Yeah, she just starts crying, and apparently that means she's dying.
So the kids panic, and they obviously can't take her to the hospital because they'll be forced to give their real names. So Henry's hold on, we can go to the doctor. I trust him. And they go to his house, and the doctor apparently knows what's good for the kids. So he cures Violet, but at the same time he invites the grandfather back into the house. So this is where he decides he's gonna reveal the truth.
Yeah.
But he does it slowly. He just invites the grandfather over, and he has them have dinner with the kids while they're there. And the kids oh, we think this old man is a great guy. We love him. He's the best.
Benny's you're cool. I'd go live with you if I could.
Yes. And then the doctor
because again, Benny, I'm telling you, Benny's stupid.
And then after Benny says that line, then the doctor's well, guess what, guys? He's your grandfather. And the kids are shook. They're surprised.
God damn it, Betty.
And they're oh, well, we like him, so maybe we'll just accept him and move on. And they do. They just immediately decide to go live with the grandfather.
Yeah, they go and he has decked out rooms for them though, hardcore.
Oh yeah, everyone gets
Watch has a silk bed in Jess's room.
The dog has a silk bed made of silk.
Yeah.
It's great. Shout out to that dog for like living in comfort.
Yeah, I think the dog, but then it gets worse. I don't know. Did you have this plot where the dog didn't really belong to them because somebody else paid for the dog?
Yeah. So like the last chapter, like a random stranger knocks on the door of the grandfather's house and is like, "By the way, that dog is ours."
And it's like, F no, that's my grandkid's dog.
They do some like weird thing where they're just like, "Oh well, you know, we'll love the dog just as equally as you would love any other dog, so we'll buy you a new dog." So they buy this strange family like a new dog.
Yeah.
But hold on, I just kind of
because like he ran away from like the breeder or whatever.
So I just kind of like skipped over this like weird one subplot where Benny, the young child, decides to give the dog a haircut.
Okay.
And he cuts all the hair off the dog, except he leaves the letter J for Jesse on the dog's side.
Because he's a young man in the 90s who thought that would be cool. Because remember when boys our age were getting like letters and stuff and designs cut into their hair?
Oh, like lightning bolts and stuff?
Yeah.
And stripes.
That's it. It's all Benny's fault.
Well,
that trend.
Okay. Well, I guess you're right. I guess shout out to Benny for being on the forefront of fashion.
Yeah, because then the girls cut their hair and yeah. So like, oh yeah, that's better. And I'm like, I bet it wasn't.
Yeah, so that's basically the Boxcar Children right there.
Yeah. Like, that's the setup. Okay. So that's where yours end?
Hold on, there was 6 minutes left in the audiobook that I can't listen to this anymore and I just shut it off. So I literally don't know how like it completely ends.
You forget that the grandfather brings the freaking boxcar to the house. To his property.
Oh, I don't even think I even got that far. But I knew that. I knew that from like mythology though.
So like he sets up the boxcar like on the property for the kids so that they always have it, yada yada, because apparently it was like the greatest place ever, whatever.
They became super attached to it in like the 2 weeks they lived there.
Yeah. And so
just to find their life.
The version I listened to, it kind of flash forwards to the future where Watch is sick. He's old. And they take him out to the boxcar because that was totally his favorite place. And he lays down and he watches Jess and Violet and Benny studying because Henry has grown up and moved on. And that's where it ends. And I'm like, oh shit, it ends with Watch dying and watching the kids studying. Like,
and Henry's like went to college or something. He's like,
yeah, like Henry's just not even there.
So yeah, so I guess like the author's original intentions was to like age the kids over time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really sell books that way. You can't sell books to like kids that way. So they had to like stay the same age and
like let's be real.
Go on like 154 more adventures.
The twins in Sweet Valley High are like the same age throughout the entire thing. The only time they age up is when they do like a special like a different series. You know?
Yeah, so I guess all right, so there's 150 Boxcar Children books altogether.
Okay.
And it became that like Sweet Valley High type thing where like they just release a new one every month.
Sweet Valley High, Babysitter's Club, basically everything we read as a kid.
Yeah, so the first 19 books were written by Gertie Warner.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was revised during that time. Most of the original, like the stories were set in the 1920s and 30s.
Yeah.
According to this hot research that I just found. So the first 19 books take place in the 20s and 30s. And then when the series was revamped in the 90s, they made it more contemporary and it was like modern day, like unexplainably.
Okay, so that's why we didn't think it was weird he had a straw hat or shit, because when we read it in like school or whatever, it was modernized.
Yes, because I used to go to like the library and I would just get these books, but I didn't read them in a specific order. I just like grabbed the ones that I thought had a cool title or like had a cool cover. So like all the ones that
that's how I did like the Sweet Valleys and the Babysitter's Club.
Yeah, so all the ones that I read, they were like solving mysteries and they were like sleuths and I don't know. So like that's what I was expecting when I read this, and it was not that.
Yeah, I was expecting more of like a mystery type thing going on, and that wasn't there at all.
Yeah, like I thought this was going to be like the Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, the Bobbsey twins.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. Maybe we'll revisit like a later one or not.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably not. We can find other things.
There's lots of other things from our past that we could drop in on.
Yeah, like Beverly Clary,
Super Fudge,
Judy Blume. Yeah, Judy. I almost said Judy Kramer, but Judy Blume.
Judy Blume. Oh, I love Judy Blume. See, the thing is, I still read Judy Blume today.
Yeah, she's relevant today, just as she was in 1983.
Well, she also writes like grown-up books.
Yeah, shout out to her for like evolving. We have a lot. We have a lot.
She'll write kids' books and grown-up books, and she's freaking amazing.
We have a lot to cover in book club. Book club is just kind of our free visit.
Send your suggestions for book club to at Very Podcast on Twitter.
Yeah, we want to do more of them because like they're kind of like few and far between. But no. But hold on.
We want to do more. We've already done a couple, but we want to do more. So send us your suggestions.
Maybe the Hardy Boys or a good Nancy Drew. Or as I used to call her, Nancy Screw and the Hard-On Boys.
We're definitely going to have to do the Babysitters Club.
Oh, for sure. And maybe even like the Little Sister, too. Little Babysitters Club, Little Sister.
Oh, my God, yes. Those we could actually, like, read in a day, because they're that easy to read.
And then we have to revisit Sweet Valley High, Book 2. We have to find out what happened. We have to find out what happens next.
Got to introduce you to that magical vodka.
Are you excited for what we're doing next? Because this was a new addition to our list?
Yeah.
All right, so we had like a
super excited.
So we had a pre-planned list, but we didn't get through as many as we thought we would this summer, so we have to kind of like bump some things around in order to be timely and relevant. So in honor of an upcoming reboot, we are going to dip back into the world of... You ready to get a little for your information?
You know I am. You know how ready I am for this.
All right, so we had some other things we're going to do, but because there is a reboot of Murphy Brown coming out like next month, we've decided that we're going to dip back into the classic Murphy Brown series. We're going to go back in time. We're going to go back to an era where Candace Bergen was a lot younger and Corky was hot.
I cannot wait because Dan Quayle thought Murphy Brown was a real person. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, so in honor of the upcoming reboot, we're going to go back in time. We're going to do a classic episode of Murphy Brown. It's going to get wild. We haven't quite figured out the episode we're going to do yet, but maybe we'll do the Dan Quayle episode where she like writes a letter to him or says something on the air to him. I forget how it was. Or maybe we'll do the one where she has a baby.
The one where she sends the potatoes to his house.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that one. I don't know. There's so many that we can do, but we're excited.
Oh my God.
Because it's going
to be excited.
And I don't know, it's gonna be, we're reliving like early 90s right now. We got Murphy Brown back on the air.
We have the upcoming new series, The Connors, which will be interesting to see.
Yes, Roseanne Barr is leaving the country.
Yep, she's running off to Israel.
We'll talk about it when we do the Roseanne Halloween special. We'll get into a Roseanne breakdown. We can't wait to talk about it. And I don't know, we have lots of fun stuff coming up. So where can you follow us?
We have a lot of stuff planned.
Where can you follow us?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can follow us on Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. Also Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. veryspecialpodcast.com, saltyrockmedia.com. Oh, and you should totally go to Amazon and buy my new book, Perfect Imperfections, because that would be awesome.
Yes, it's a sexy story about a TV series that's being canceled, and the star is falling in love with a rival star of another television show. So, is this based on real life circumstances?
How I know Patrick hasn't read the book by his synopsis.
I just remember, like, from what I heard last week when you talked about it.
Yeah. I should just, record one thing for you to, just edit it.
But buy her book, or listen to my forthcoming drunk audiobook version of it. And all her other books, because, I don't know, we might release them to the general public. Who knows? We'll see.
Ooga.
Yeah, ooga. Ooga Cat, said the author, Queen of Books. Queen of the Night. Queen of the Damned. Any last words before we float off into the ether?
Why do I do this with you? Why do we still do this?
I don't know. Maybe we'll end it soon.
I doubt it.
Watch the skies. Watch the skies.
Bye!